Hey guys, this is Joshua Elias. I want to talk to you guys, and just so you guys can get a little more perspective on who I am and why I'm making a video and why I'm doing a channel. So I'm going to start off and say I am a transgender female to male. I've been on my hormones for a year and, let's see, it's gonna be a year and almost 7 months. Yeah, because I got my first shot June 6th of 2016. So yeah, a year and almost 6 months. I wish I could have started off in the beginning, show, photos and videos of before and after on what I looked like and who I was before, and just so you guys can see, like a timeline of what I look like before and who I am now as a person, of who I'm growing to. I'm sorry I'm starting late. I know I'm very late with my video, and I wanted to start before, but it's just work and life and just certain situations got in the way of that, and now I feel like I have a little bit more time to just focus on myself and hopefully, talk to anybody that's out there and anybody that wants to see, me or want to follow my journey or my transition. I'm willing to, show myself out there. I'm not doing it to, to just get the attention. I'm doing it so anybody can see, anybody that's like confused on what transgender is, or anybody that anybody that's just really confused on what we do, or just like what we look like, or what we do day by day in our life, like how it is for us to do our shots every day, or how it is when we go out into the public and have to explain to them why we are where we are, you know what I mean? Like, I've gone through a lot of judgmental people in my life. I've met some, I've, been through a lot. There were some stores I went to that didn't even get served, because they wanted to see my license, and I haven't gone through the process of getting my name legally changed, but I didn't get served because, I look like a guy and my name said my birth name, which is Marissa, by the way, in case you guys were wondering. But no, they asked for my license, they asked for my card, I gave them both, and I still didn't get served, which pretty sucked, guys. And this was a little, like, taco store, by the way, like a little taco joint in the corner of my house. I figured I'd go get some tacos, but, I left with no tacos, so, yeah, instead of me blabbering away, I just want to talk, and just tell you guys, like my story and why I came out and what made me come out. By the way, this is kind of like, so my coming out story, it's a little funny, I guess, but probably to some of you guys it probably won't be as funny. So the first person I came out to was my mom, and me and my mom, we were very close. So I felt like, okay, I'm gonna, tell my mom first. And I kind of grew up in a religious family, so I didn't want to tell my dad first. And at that time, my dad was actually out of the state. So he was in a whole other country, and it was just me, my mom, and my sister, and it was us for, a month. And me, myself, I was confused, I was just confused on who I wanted to be, and I don't know if it, I was just trying to figure myself out at that moment, and until I came out to my mom. And I originally came out to my mom as lesbian in a way, because I was, still confused, when I was younger, I had crush on girls, but it was at that moment in my life where I was like, oh, like, wow, am I crushing on this girl right now? Is it right for me to crush on her? Like, I would ask myself those questions just because of how I grew up, like, just I have a very strict dad, and my mom was technically more laid back, but it's just my dad, you know, in a way, you know, if he didn't like something, it had to go his way. So I'm just gonna skip and tell you guys how I told my mom. So at that time, I had a very close guy best friend, and we're just gonna call him Bob, right? I mean, that's a typical name you want to put on someone when you don't want to say their real name. So first I actually came out to him and I was like, hey, you know, like, I feel like I have to tell you something, you know, before I even told anybody, you know, at that time that I liked girls, I did research online, you know, just to get more of a perspective on, you know, like, the right pronouns and terms and just all that, you know. And so I talked to him, and he actually knew, you know, he told me that, oh, I'm actually, you know, glad you told me, because I've always kind of knew you were, you know, like, gay or lesbian, or I just knew you were just into girls. So, I'm sorry guys, I'm just trying to find a song right now, just because it's me, myself, and I'm very lonely here in the house. Let's see. Oh, gotta love ads. Gotta love the ads. Alright, I love this song, by the way. So I love Skywalker, Travis Scott. You know, so I came out to him and I was like, hey, you know, yeah, you know, I'm into girls. I've always had you know, crushes on them. And mind you, at the time, I never really found guys attractive, you know. I've always looked at them like, oh, he could be like a really cool friend, you know, like, never in a way where I was like, oh wow, like, you know, he's cute. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, now, I'm not gonna lie, there are attractive guys out there, you know, like, I give credits, you know, to the ones out there that look attractive, and even the ones that don't feel like they are, you know, like, I feel like everyone's, you know, unique and perfect in their own way. So I came out to him, this and that, you know, it was at his dad's house, and his dad, you know, also knew too, I guess. Alright, so I told him, oh, I want to tell my mom, but at that time, you know, I was nervous, because, you know, like, I did say my mom was laid back, but at the same time, it's my mom, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure everyone would be scared to tell their parents that they like girls or they like boys, you know. It's kind of like a scary moment, because you don't know if you're going to be rejected or accepted right away by your parents. And you would assume to be accepted right away just because they're your parents, but there are some parents out there that don't really accept it right away. You know, it takes time for them to accept it and realize that this is who you want to be. So, sorry I'm saying a lot. It's just like my first video, and I'm just not trying to make it as perfect, but I'm just trying to be me, I guess. So I told him, and then he was like, hey, you know, want me to be there with you while you tell your mom? So I was like, oh wow, you know, that would actually, you know, make me feel a little better. It won't make me as nervous. So then we went to my house, and I went to the kitchen, and my sister, she was in the living room, and the way, like, the house was set up was, this was the kitchen, the living room was right, like, I don't know if you guys can, like, see, like, in the way I'm explaining, but the living room was, like, right there, and my mom's room was right there. So, like, living room's here, kitchen's here, so my sister was sitting right there, and I was in the kitchen, so she could see and hear me walking in, and my mom was in her room. So as soon as I walked into the kitchen, her room was, like, right there. So then I walk into the kitchen, I go into my mom's room, I was like, hey mom, can I talk to you? And she just looks at me confused, you know, like, every time I say that, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like a troubled kid growing up. You know, I would always get in trouble in school, and I had good grades. It's just like, I don't know, I guess I didn't really get along with the teachers, and, you know, so, like, every time I say I want to talk to you, she always assumes it's school or, you know, friend-wise. So when I asked her, hey, can I talk to you, she gave me that look, and then she was like, okay. So she went out into the kitchen. I sat on the table, and my best friend was kind of like standing next to me, but not like as close. And my sister, she's very nosy, so she's just a very nosy person. So she was watching TV, and as soon as I told my mom, hey, can I talk to you? I like noticed and heard that the volume from the TV was really low, and I just knew she was listening. So like, I guess she didn't try to make it obvious, but like, I know. I mean, like, growing up with her, I know who she is, and she's just a very nosy person. So, we're sitting at the table, and I'm nervous, I'm like, oh my god, like, I'm just, so many thoughts are running through my head. I'm just like, is my mom gonna accept me? Is she not? Is she gonna tell my dad? Like, just like, what's gonna happen? You know what I mean? So, this is kind of like where the funny part comes in, like, where it kind of gets a little funny. So, my mom is just staring at me, she's just waiting for me to say it. And then, I don't know what it was at that moment, but I felt like all eyes were on me, so I just blurted out, and I was like, Mom, I'm gay. I'm into girls. And she looked at me, and she was, like, in shock. She just had that look like, whoa. And then she looked at me, and she was like, at first she didn't really say anything, I think, like, she was just in shock so much that she was lost for words. But my sister, she, like, I don't know what happened at that moment, but she turned her head around so fast, and she just looks at me, and she was like, oh, I knew it, I knew you were gay. And I was like, what? And she was like, oh, I've always knew it. And I was like, wow, okay, like, okay, I mean, at least she knew, you know what I mean? Like, can't complain or get mad at her. But the way she said it was like, she turned around so quick, and she just blurted out after I just said it. And then my mom just looks at me, and she was like, oh my god, I'm so happy. And I was like, what? And then she was like, I thought you were going to tell me you were pregnant. Oh my god, dude. At that moment, I was like, pregnant? Like, I was confused. My best friend was confused. We were all just confused in the room, Like, where would pregnancy even come from? I never dated guys. Like, probably once, but I don't consider it dating because it was only like a date. It was really like in elementary school, So, when she said that, I asked her what made her think that, and she said it's because my best friend was next to me, and the fact that he was in the same room and I was in the same room, and I said, hey, I have to tell you something. She assumed that I was gonna say, oh, I'm pregnant, which is crazy, I'm like, no, Mom, I'm not pregnant, like. 4 years later, I'm not, I'm a male, basically, But, this is kind of where it gets sad, My mom did accept me, and she told me that I had to tell my dad. So I was nervous, and I was like, oh, I don't want to talk to him, I don't want to speak to him, he's not going to accept me, this and that, because, like, I grew up, like, my dad, if you guys ever seen him in person, he's just a scary person, like, my friends were scared of him, anybody that brought over would just feel, like, intimidated by him, and it sucks, and he would always be hard on me and not my little sister, my little sister was, like, his princess, his world, so, like, me, I always got punished, like, always gotten hit, because I grew up in, like, that Spanish, like, I'm not going to say every Spanish household, everybody gets hit or their child gets abused, but it's just him, he thought that hitting me would make me be, like, a better, respectful person, which, I grew up, and I'm not going to lie, I am a better person, I'm not going to say it was because of those hits, but me as a person, me being comfortable in my own skin and just living day by day, I'm just realizing a lot of things in my life and why certain things are happening in my life. So, sorry guys. I love Selena Gomez, like, she's my wife, like, I've always had crushes on her, and I'm playing Wolves by her, I don't know, it's just my favorite song, it has that nice beat to it, that's what kind of makes me like this song more. So, anyways, back to my dad, and my mom telling me I have to tell my dad. So, she called him right at that moment, and then she was like, hey, your daughter has something to tell you. So my palms are sweating, I'm like freaking out, I don't know what to do. I'm looking at my best friend, he's looking at me like, oh shit, because he knows how my dad is. And my dad didn't even like him, you know what I mean? So, oh, my back hurts. So, So she handed me the phone, and he's just like, all right, what do you have to tell me? And I'm like, oh, like, I have to tell you something. So he's like, okay, what is it? What's going on? What's wrong? So I was like, I stuttered, and I was like, oh, I'm gay, I'm lesbian, I'm into girls. And he stayed quiet, and he did not wanted to believe me at all. Like, he yelled at me on the phone. He told me it's not right, and my dad's the type that likes to use anything against me, and he knows how close I am to my grandma. So my dad's he's rude. He's a very rude person. So he said I can't be the way I am, because supposedly I'm gonna give my grandma a heart attack, and that my grandma's gonna pass away if she finds out I'm gay or I'm into women, and that hurt me a lot, and mind you, that day I called my dad, he was coming home a couple days later from his trip. So I was even more scared, I was like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna be grounded, that's it for me, I can't be who I wanna be. And before this even all started, guys, like, I'm sorry, I'm like probably confusing you guys or whatever, but before this started, before like I realized I was into girls, I was always in and out of counseling. I was like, I'm not gonna say a depressed kid, but I did reach depression once in my life, and I just hit a point in my life where I felt like I needed to talk to someone, because my parents weren't really like there for me. Like, my mom was always working 24/7. She did long shifts, and my dad was just like, he's just a person you don't want to tell your problems to, because he's just he never wants to hear it, So I was always in and out of counseling, just getting like help, just to talk to somebody, just to have somebody there, and that really did help a lot. And around that time, I brought up to a counselor, and I was like, I told her that I get more attracted to women than I do with guys, and she actually told me, and she was like, oh, like, do you think you're, like, lesbian or gay? And I was like, oh, like, because I was young, so I didn't really know the term to that, like. And then she was like, like a woman dating a woman or a guy dating a guy, like, like around there. So I kind of knew, like, what she was referring to. So I was like, wow, like, I really think I'm, like, into, like, women, like, I feel really attracted to them. And even in high school, like, there would be some pretty girls in the hallway, and I just always look at them, and it was just like, they were pretty, like, I mean, they were, like, not, like, the cheerleader pretty-wise, like, how high schools have, like, that scenario where it's always cheerleaders, but no, like, like, I feel like every high school has pretty girls, and it's just, I feel like you guys will understand where I'm coming from, because, like, I don't know, when you know what you like, you'll know, like, you'll feel it. So when I told her that, she, we talked day by day about it, and then she basically gave me the courage to talk to my mom first, because she knew how my dad was, like, and every time I was punished by my dad, I would tell her, like, she was always that go-to person for me. So I told my mom, and when I was on the phone with my dad, this and that, so I'm going to fast forward to when my dad came home. So we went to go pick him up at the airport, and at that time, guys, like, when I first came out to my mom, like, that same night, I went and I got my hair cut. Like, I went with my best friend, I got my hair cut, and then the next day, I was like, Mom, I need to go get clothes that I'm going to feel comfortable in. Like, I got my hair cut, I can't be wearing no girly clothes, like, the dresses and the leggings and all that. I can't be doing that. So, like, we went to the store, and my mom, for, like, because I guess she's always used to it, like, we went to the girl aisle, and I was like, Mom, like, can we check out the men's side, please? So, like, I basically had to beg her. Like, she did accept me, but I guess it was hard for her to see her, like, firstborn, like, child, like, her only girl, basically, dressing in boy clothes, and getting the haircut that I wanted, I understand that it was hard for her, but you know, I guess she started learning day by day, you know, and so we went to the boys' side, and you know, I remember what I got too. I got a white hoodie, I got like skinny jeans, some like sneakers, and you know, I was like really excited, you know, to finally be comfortable in on who I want to be, you know. So then after like that same night I cut my hair, and then the next day we went to the store, and then like 2 days after that was when we had to go pick up my dad. So I was like freaking out because my dad didn't know I cut my hair. He didn't know I was dressing like a boy already, you know. He didn't know any of that, you know. My mom kept it like from him because she knows how he is with me, like just like towards me in general. So the whole ride to the airport, I was shaking, guys. Like, so many thoughts were running through my head, and I was like, oh my god, you know, this is it. Like, I'm not gonna be wearing, like, this is, like, I basically had to cherish the moment because it was the only moment I was gonna get wearing my bad, boy clothes, you know what I mean? So we got to the airport, and we're waiting for my dad. We're at the terminal, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. And then, you know, I was bored, so I was on my phone, and my mom was sitting next to me. She was, you know, looking out for my dad, and then, I guess she spotted him coming down the escalator, and then, you know, she, like, nugged me or shoved me a little bit. She was like, look at your dad. And at that moment, my heart dropped. I was scared. My heart was pounding. It was like I was in a scary movie. Honestly, guys, like, my dad will make you feel like you're in a scary movie. So he's coming down the escalator, and he's looking at me like, who is that person? You know what I mean? Like, who's that with my mom? You know, like, he's giving me that look like, who the hell is that guy with his wife, basically? You know what I mean? Like, so then he sees me. He realizes who I am because he comes up to us. He doesn't talk to me at all, you know, and that kind of, like, hurt me because he doesn't talk to me, and he ignored me the whole car ride. And then, like, 5 minutes before we got home, he gave me like a huge lecture saying that I'm a disgrace to the family, that that I'm gonna basically like ruin our reputation, or like basically like he said all that to me, you know. And I'm in the back, you know, trying not to cry because it's just like I finally felt comfortable and be who I want to be, and he's just here talking down on me, you know. Like, he said that his family's gonna hate him for it, for being the way I am, and like his sisters, my aunts, were not gonna talk to me, and they weren't gonna accept me. So that night we got home, guys, he talked so much, and my mom is the type to stay quiet when I'm getting yelled at by my dad. Like, growing up, my mom was never really the type to stand up for like me in general, you know. Like, my mom was always working, so like most of the time my mom wasn't home when I was getting yelled at. But when she was around, she just didn't want to get in the middle of it because my dad has no filter, you know. He would come at her, you know. And I grew up with that, you know. So like that same night, you know, he talked a lot, and I got kicked out. I basically got disowned by my dad, and in a way I could say by my family, because my mom didn't like stuck up for me. She didn't like. So I got like, you know, I got disowned that night. I had to pack my stuff. He told me to get out, and basically to not talk to them ever again. So I texted my best friend, and you know, I explained to him what happened, and I went and I stayed with them for like a year. You know, that whole year, guys, my parents didn't reach out to me at all. And my little sister, she would try to reach out to me, but she told me that my dad would like take her phone, or like tell her to not hang out with me because she'll turn into me, you know what I mean? Like, would use me against her. And it sucks, you know, because like she was my little sister, and I've always wanted to have a bond with my little sister, but my little sister is scared of my dad, guys. Like, completely scared. Like, I feel so bad for her. And this happened, guys, from me being kicked out, disowned, not talking to my family 4 years ago today. For 4 years, guys, I've been doing it on my own. I got this one at 16 years old. That's when I came out, you know. At 16 years old, I got kicked out, and I've been basically doing it on my own. You know, my first job was Papa Gino's, you know. Like, I knew I had to support myself, you know. Like, I don't have my family there. And it was hard for me, you know, like I didn't go to school that much because I was working to support myself, you know. And I try to reach out to them throughout the 4 years, but it's just like it wouldn't really work because every time I did, my dad would be like, "Oh yeah, we can have you back in family if you went back to being who you were." Basically, like, grow out my hair, shave all this off, and wear girly clothes again. You know what I mean? And he told me like, "Oh, I'll take you out to buy dresses." And guys, that's not who I am. You know, like as much as I love them and everyone tells me, how do you still love them for disowning you, you know, for kicking you out at such a young age? It's just like you reach a point in your life where you just forgive and forget, you know, like you just move on from it. You move on from the pain and the hurt, and not even that, you know, like when I got kicked out, I met a wonderful girl, and she, like, her family accepted me for who I am, you know. Her family took me in. I was living at my best friend's house for a year, guys, and it was sort of hard, you know, because, like, her parents, you know, took me in right away, but there were times where I felt uncomfortable, you know, like, I was too uncomfortable to go into the kitchen and get food, you know. That's the kind of person I am, guys. Like, I can be living with you guys, but I wouldn't dare to touch their food because I know it's not my food. So it's like, I don't know, that I just felt uncomfortable, you know, like I'm like, to this day I'm grateful for my friend for letting me stay for a year with them and just basically putting a roof over my head, you know. And I met my girlfriend, which she's my fiance now, guys. You know, we got engaged, so yeah, I guess it's working out. But I met her, you know, she was just, you know, amazing. We met at the movies, and as soon as I met her parents, like, I hit it off, you know. Like, her mom is like my mom, you know. Like, her mom is just the most sweetest person you'll ever meet. You know, she's a church person, but she's still accepting and loving, you know. She will accept anybody that comes into her home. She'll make you feel like one of her kids, and that's, like, one of the greatest feeling ever, because I haven't felt like I was somebody's kid since I've been disowned. And I'm 21 years old, guys, and I haven't heard an I love you, like, you know, from a mom or a parent, you know, since 16. And it makes me sad because, you know, it's hard, you know, to basically be on your own at 16. I know there's kids out there that don't have a family, or they just get thrown into, like, adoption and all that. But it's just like, like, my heart goes out to anybody out there that doesn't have, like, a family or a parent, because I can relate to the pain you're feeling and going through, because I've dealt with it for 4 years, and I had to pick myself up. I've reached some tough moments in my life where it was just too hard for me, you know. Working 16, guys, it was just like, I feel like it took over my life, you know. Like, I was, like, just working so much, and, like, minimum wage too, guys. When you're working to support yourself, it's very hard to live off a minimum wage, you know. And you do reach, like, a point in your life where it gets, you know, tough and hard. But her family, you know, I'm very thankful for them. I'm grateful for them. They took me in. I've been living with them for 4 years. They pushed me to, you know, they motivated me to do better, you know. I went, and guys, like, I even bought my own first car, you know, like, and that's hard, you know. Like, I'd always imagine, like, my parents buying my first car, you know. Like, even if there's some kids out there that work hard for their money, and there's some parents out there that can't afford to buy their kids their first car, and I understand, you know, it's hard out there, you know. Minimum wage isn't the best, you know. Like, no one can really live off a minimum wage unless you're really, like, budgeting your money and saving. Then congrats to you, because I am such a horrible saver. Like, I am telling you, I am horrible at saving. I'm trying, you know, because I'm 21, you know. I want to save. I want to eventually get a house one day, you know. But, you know, you just hit a moment in your life where you're like, wow, you know, I bought my first car, and I can say that was, like, one of the biggest accomplishments. Guys, I can't talk. biggest accomplishments I've ever done was getting my first car. And I don't regret being the way I am at all. I really don't. And to like the trans community out there, the transgender, whoever's gay, lesbian, bi, I love you. You know, hopefully there's someone out there, anybody out there that can relate to my story. And I'm still living, guys. You know, I'm still here. I'm trying to go to college. That's one thing I want to do in my life, is go to college and prove my dad wrong. You know, like, he told me, being the way I am, no job is gonna accept me, no college is gonna accept me. You know, like, no one is gonna accept who I am. Which hearing those words come from your dad, it really, like, it stays in your head, you know, and it'll constantly play and play and play in your head, like, he made me feel so worthless, you know, in my own skin. And my fiance motivated me, and she told me that I'm perfect the way I am. I mean, nobody's perfect, but to hear those words coming from someone that I have not received the support from, like, family-wise, made me feel, like, so great. And her mom too, guys. Like, her mom, she's just very, like, supportive, and I'm just very happy to have these people in my life. And I just wanted to show you guys my first video, and just so you guys can see who I am as a person. And just, you know, I just want you guys to see who I am, and eventually, if you guys subscribe to me, who you guys are subscribing to, like, what channel you guys are seeing, you know what I mean? Like, I want you guys to know who I am. I'll probably keep repeating that. This probably isn't the first best video, but I tried, and I want it to be a first video where you guys can get to know me, you know, get to be a part of me, get to see that I'm just someone that is trying to grow into who I want to be. I am going to be posting more videos. I want to show you guys, you know, my before and after, which I kind of do regret, because I told myself when I took my first tee shot, I want to record and just record my timeline, you know? But I was just so caught up with work and just life issues and me trying to just finish school and work and support me, that I haven't had time to record, like, my timeline. And hold on, guys, I'm gonna see. I do have one picture where I can show you guys, and a lot of people say I kind of still have, like, my baby face, which is pretty strange. But in this picture, I'm holding my nephew. No, my baby cousin. I'm sorry. I'm holding my baby cousin in this. Let me see if I can, if I can show you guys real quick. I'm sorry if I'm, like, angling it wrong. Yeah, but that's me, guys. I think I was, like, 11 or 12 in there. But that's me, which is, I had a rad haircut. But yes, I am going to be posting more. I want you guys to just get to know me a little bit more. I'm going to talk more about, you know, my hormones, and help anybody that lives around. I live in the Rhode Island area, guys, and it's the smallest state in the United States. So this state is just so small, and if there's anybody out there that needs the right resources on who to go to, I'm here. You guys can comment, you know, I will reply. I'm here to help anybody out. I don't want anybody to be in my situation. And honestly, guys, it took me a while to start my hormones, because I didn't know the right resources to go to. I had to, like, do my research on my own, and I am blessed to have the doctor who I have now, to be in my hormones, to have the family who I have now. So this is my first vid, and I hope you guys like it.